The thing that I care about the most when I work with my clients and when I'm with myself is to continue building a sense of self-esteem. And self-esteem is the positive self-regard that we have for ourselves, regardless of what situation we get into. If we make a mistake, then we're still able to offer ourselves compassion and acceptance. And it's the kind of connectedness to the knowingness that we are innately valuable and worthy of love regardless. And I think that this is so important to understand because so many of us have struggled with low self-esteem. And it's no wonder there are many different reasons for that. One is just, life, and especially if we've gone through teenage years and we've experienced the hormonal changes of going through, being a teenager, then of course we're going to feel those. We've probably felt it. And it's also something that can stick with us though, if we don't do the inner work to uncover and to heal the parts of ourselves that might have felt that they were unworthy of love or unworthy of acceptance if they didn't do something or if they didn't have something, which again, all these different things and all these different parts of ourselves that can influence our sense of self-esteem usually comes from childhood or from our younger years. And when we can understand that first and foremost, like at our core, our foundation is value. Like we are innately worthy, we're innately lovable as we are. No child comes into this world being unworthy of love, right? That is just the truth. We know this. However, we learn along the way from different experiences that we are unworthy for whatever reason, or that we deserve to have low self-esteem, or that we have low self-esteem and it's just this is just the way we are. When the truth is, it's not actually our truth. I believe, and what I see so often when people heal and they step more into their potential is that they really uncover this innate deep knowing within them that they are worthy and they are lovable and they deserve to have a healthy, strong sense of self-esteem and self-respect through doing the inner work that is often required in us to uncover that knowingness. And in this video, we're going to talk about what that actually is, or what self-esteem actually is. And at the end, I'm going to take you through a practice of how to actually practice building and knowing our self-esteem, because this is my belief as well, that self-esteem isn't built through, doing the things that we're good at all the time, or through, receiving validation or attention from other people. It's built from within. It's built inside of ourselves, usually through the moments that are the toughest, that are the most challenging, that are the most triggering or activating. That is where we are called to meet ourselves deeper. Those moments of low self-esteem and a feeling of like, I'm not good enough, that is where the practice is. That is where we actually build the sense of self-esteem. So this is the thing, right? We live in a world where we're taught to be externally oriented. Maybe we started believing that if I have X, then I will feel I deserve confident, or that's when I'll feel worthy. For example, if I have a partner, if I have the car, if I have the money, if I have the job, then I can feel worthy. Then I can feel respect for myself. Then I can feel compassion for myself. Then I can feel love, that I'm worthy of love, right? And it's kind of like, really question if that's true, or, it's potentially partially true. It can be true that we build a sense of self-confidence and self-trust through doing things where we realize that we can build confidence through gaining skill, or, if we follow through on the things that we say that we're going to follow through on. Then we can build a sense of respect because we have proof for I've done the thing that I'm going to say that I'm going to do, or I've acted in a way that makes me proud of myself. Then we can see that that builds confidence, right? The thing is, though, when we're only determining our sense of esteem and worth from our external environment, then it doesn't go deep within, because it's deep within that we have to do the work of, for example, meeting the parts of ourselves that feel really shitty about themselves, that feel like they don't like that we don't like these parts of ourselves, or we feel that vulnerability, and that can trigger a sense of self-criticism, or we end up in an interaction with someone where it triggers old wounds, and we feel the sense of, oh my God, I'm not worthy, or I made this person mad, and therefore that means that I'm bad in some way. That's going to be individual for each and every one of us, but it's through those moments, like I mentioned, meeting ourselves and feeling whatever they're feeling, and being the loving guide, being the loving parent, being the loving friend, the loving awareness that has the ability to see and hear and understand what's going on underneath the surface here, meeting those parts of ourselves with compassion and acceptance, that's when we actually build that sense of self-esteem. So right now, if you have any part of yourself that feels like you have low self-worth, or you feel like you've maybe in the last couple of days or even today, you felt a sense of low esteem for yourself, or low self-esteem, just not confident in yourself, what if you felt that part of yourself right now fully, and we can do it together. You located that emotion, that sensation somewhere in your body, maybe in your belly or your heart or your throat, which are really normal places that somatically these things can set themselves, or these emotions can set themselves. And what if we let that part know that it doesn't have to change right now? Like, it is welcome just the way it is, just with, feeling, if it's feeling negative emotions, it gets to be there just as it is. It doesn't have to change. And just letting that part know that we're not alone. It's not alone right now. That you're here with it. And that you deserve my acceptance. Regardless of what happened, like what happened, it's likely very understandable that this part of yourself showed up based on what you've experienced and started believing about yourself in the past, right? And this is where we can then get to know, what are the needs this part of ourselves have? Is it just acceptance? Is it just us sitting with it, or you sitting with it? Is it compassion? Is it support from a loved one? What did that part of yourself need, or what does that part of yourself need? Maybe asking then also, when did it start believing the things that it's believing about itself? When did it start feeling this way? And from that, what is it that it actually needed from a loved one, from a supportive friend, from a caregiver? And how can you meet that within yourself now? What does that part need? Does it need support going forward? Does it need to know that it's just not alone? That if difficult things happen, or things happen where you feel silly, or you say something stupid, or you do something you feel is wrong, that you will meet that part of yourself with compassion and unconditional acceptance, that you're not going to reject it, that you're not going to abandon it. Right? And it's through doing this practice over and over and over again that we build authentic, self-esteem. Not self-esteem or not confidence that's based on external factors, which can sometimes kind of inflate our egos, right? And we believe we're much bigger than what we maybe actually feel inside, because maybe we're compensating a little bit by trying to get all these external things, or if we're relying on external validation or attention, which there's nothing wrong with that. It's just noticing where within us, if we're doing that because there's a part of us that needs our care and needs our support. The parts of us that feel low or unworthy or not good enough. That they are actually the ones that need meeting, that they are actually the ones that need acceptance first and foremost, so that we continue building our lives and making decisions from a space of authentic self-esteem that isn't based in that wounding, or that isn't based in protection from wanting to protect ourselves from feeling that emotion, perhaps. And that's why we're going after these external things, which is very common for so many of us, me included. And this is where, again, we start making decisions through meeting these parts of ourselves. We feel more whole, we feel more authentic. People feel us as more whole and more authentic. People feel more comfortable and like they can be themselves around us, because they can sense that we've met these parts of ourselves within us. And that builds safety and trust with others. And it's from this space also that we start making decisions that are truly loving, that are truly loving in the sense that they're optimal for our future, for our health, for our well-being, for our relationships. And this is where that, because we do this work within ourselves and we realize how valuable, innately valuable we are, actually, and lovable, even if we experience something that would tell us different, even if we experience stuff with caregivers that told us different, that we are innately valuable and lovable. And that when we know that, we treat ourselves with respect. We make decisions that come from respect for ourselves, because we know how worthy and lovable we are and valuable. I hope that this was helpful. If anything resonated, if you have any insights or anything, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. And you can connect with me on Instagram. I'll leave all my information below. Thank you for being here, and take so much care of yourself.